Look at that.
Look at that.
We're
Here we
back
are.
together, reunited.
Reunited.
And it
It's-
feels
it's
so
right.
good.
It does
Yeah.
feel good, doesn't it? Have it.
Yeah,
Yes.
if I had you at the piano, Philip.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, let's
just-
do a little reunited, and it feels so good. See, it's all the feels.
Yeah. All of it.
That
It's
song
been
might
wonderful.
have been released before you were born.
It's a familiar tune
Okay,
to almost
good.
everybody, isn't it?
I would think so.
Yeah, it's a pretty
Yeah.
familiar tune. I don't know when it was released, but
That
it's
might
a
be
very
a good KCLC tune.
a very familiar
There
tune.
might be something in that
Yeah.
for us to preach on. So,
Yeah.
so can you give me some more volume now, by chance? It just seems so quiet in here.
You need it booming in
That-
your ears.
You got a little booming.
Yeah,
So.
a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, so much going on, right? So, last
Busy
week I
week.
was gone
Yeah.
visiting my dad, and then got back, and we preached on the last part of our mission statement.
So finished up that sermon series.
Yep.
Yep.
And now we're coming up to Pentecost festival this weekend, and then in between we have Vacation Bible School right now.
We do. So we have. I mean, it's another big year with kiddos here
Yeah.
for Vacation Bible School. So that's been really great to see. Just
Biggest
the energy.
outreach of the
Yeah,
year.
just, it's fun to have that filled up and a lot of good energy there.
That's right.
So it is really good. So if you've never been, it's just we have all kinds of volunteers just making it a wonderful week. They do all kinds of things from science experiments to singing to snacks, but everything has
games and-
everything has a message.
That's
Yeah.
right. So it's just a lot of fun, and we give thanks for all the volunteers making all of that happen.
Yes.
So
yes, it's a wonderful thing. It takes a lot to come every day with a smile, but it's just like that's really what it takes.
That's right.
Just given an opportunity to love somebody.
Yep. And it relates to kids. Caring, available adults is like the most important thing, more than knowledge, more than anything else.
Yeah.
That is.
And
the
you
most important
find
thing.
that you know what that matters probably most when you're an adult too.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
those things. Absolutely.
So I know that some of you are on social media and some of you are not on social media. But what I thought I'd do today is I thought I would share with you some pictures from what I saw in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
While
you got
while
it
I
was
was
a
gone.
good little kind of a Thursday to what a little over a week maybe, but
Yep. So
just over.
So I put a really short video together for you to take a look at, and while we're watching this, you're going to hear the beautiful music of Philip Fortenberry. So let's take a watch.
Ooh.
Thanks, Philip. That was outdoor
Yes.
music.
How about
That's what we
that?
call outdoor music.
Outdoor music.
So I
Yeah.
put that video together real quick this morning, and I it should have said the end at the end, but it said title slide. So
Yeah, you can put your text there.
put your text there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
can't be perfect, and I didn't want to task our tech people for something so mundane as my vacation pictures. So not everything's perfect, but good enough, right?
Good enough.
I look at
That
those
was
pictures
great.
and I think to myself, "Wow, it feels like I was just there."
I bet
And
it does.
then realized, yes, I was just there.
there.
Yeah.
Yes,
So there was a
yes.
picture of my dad in there, and he was with us.
How's he
and,
doing? Doing all
You know,
right?
he's doing okay. You know, he's
Good.
really slowing
Yeah.
down. And if you were curious about the monster next to him in that picture, the three of us, that is a mythical creature called a hodag.
A hodag.
Yeah. And the Hodag is
Different from Hobab, who
Yes.
was Moses' father-in-law.
Right.
Yes.
Not Jethro / Hobab.
Yeah,
This is
different,
the Hodag.
different people.
So back in the late 1800s, so 1890, 1880, in the town of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, which is about an hour from us, we went over there, is that a land developer created the myth of this thing called the Hodag in hopes that people would get scared and sell their land to him. Because he
Really?
wanted to scoop up all the land up there. And so he started this myth of the Hodag monster in the woods. And so he did buy quite a bit of land, and then it was discovered that he was not telling the truth. But the legend of the Hodag was born, and so that
Wow.
so if you go east and south of me from where we were about an hour, there's this town. It's the county seat of Oneida County. They got Hodags everywhere, and that one is at the
Wow.
Chamber of Commerce. And so my dad had never seen a Hodag, so I thought we would take him over there and
see
get
a
picture.
Hodag.
Yeah, and believe it or not, you know when you come up Las Vegas Boulevard from Henderson and you see the "Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas" sign, and there's always a line of people wanting to get their picture taken under
There
it.
is. Sometimes it's a long line.
Yep. Well, there was a line to get your picture taken with the Hodag in Rhinelander, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
we were first.
You got there first. You
But-
must have woke up early.
And then
You were
there-
ready to go.
And then there was two more
Yes.
families ready to go up and take a
take
picture.
their picture right after.
Yep. So
Well,
there was that.
that's great.
But most everything else you saw was within less than a mile of the house.
Looked green.
Yeah,
looked
very
beautiful.
green.
Yep.
Mosquitoes had not fully
Fully emerged.
emerged. There's a few. There was a bird on our porch light with two baby birds, or robins, and so because there were baby birds, we left them be. We didn't want to disturb that. But when next time I'm up there, the nest will be removed.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
But because there was two baby birds in there, and they were getting ready to like launch. I mean, they were pretty close to launching, but we weren't going to disturb the nest. And you might have saw that little picture of a church through the woods there. That church literally is next door to me, and
okay.
it's a 100-year-old church. It's not in use anymore, but the building is still there. And
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
too funny that that. Even when I go to Wisconsin, there's a church really close. Not an operation.
Always
anymore.
close by.
Yeah, there's always church close by. And so that's some of the stuff we saw, and you saw some of the flowers that were in bloom, and those were taken down. We have a library around the corner from us, a little community library, and they have a beautiful garden with flowering trees. And so, so we went down there to enjoy some of that too. So, yeah. A lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, but even better to be back, and even better to be getting ready for Pentecost to talk about the birth of the
Pentecost
church.
is coming up. Yeah.
And I thought when on Sunday we got to the end of services, and we've been using that Easter video to open and close services like we do, I was shocked to see it today when we opened today's broadcast. I know, but I just thought maybe we'd do something different. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe create an Ascension Day.
Yeah. I need you to make an Ascension Day video.
Yeah.
Bumper.
Yeah,
Yep.
just for like a
Yep.
1 week.
For 1 week. It's
1
only
week
10 days,
Ascension
that's
Day
right.
video.
Yep. So
Yeah.
it is. I guess it is still technically Easter until Saturday night at 5:00. So.
Yes. Yes.
So there we are. And also, I mean, think about this. On Sunday morning, obviously we have our regular service, but at 11 o'clock, which is our contemporary service, not only are we remembering Pentecost, we're also going to have some of the kids from Vacation Bible School with us.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of that. But then there's also confirmation, too.
Confirmation,
We have some
yeah.
kids making a declaration of faith on Sunday, too.
Right,
So
and that's
11
a-
a.m. is going to be packed. I think we'll be done about 1:30.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's
Just
wild.
just in time to me to run to my next appointments.
Yeah. Seriously.
So, anyways, a lot of great stuff happening here, right?
it's good.
Yeah.
It's been really, really good.
So let's do this. I want to take us back to Saturday night, and Robbie's out of town because he is with that group that had been practicing in the sanctuary called Breton Thunder, and he had to go get them because he's one of their musical directors to get them set up on the cruise ship where they're going to be doing that show all summer. But he had to go with them to kind of kick things off. So he wasn't with us on Saturday night or Sunday morning this past week. So instead, we had a little combination of folks, including Chuck with us singing.
Yeah, Chuck Foley, who he's always willing to come in, and when he does, he always seems to bring a song that he's put some thought into.
Yes.
What fits for this service, this time? Yeah.
And he did that this week. And so I want to take you back to Saturday night to hear a song called God Help Me. So let's take a listen.
When I'm at my end, tears pouring down, and I can't see past what's in front of me now. When it's all too much for this heart to take, there's one name I call, one prayer that I pray. God help me now. Feels like there's no way out, but Jesus, you're faithful and able, and you've never once let me down. God help me now. No matter the pain that my heart may feel, the wound cuts too deep for your love to heal. So when fear comes to find me and doubt starts to grow, I lift up my eye, I just know where to go. God help me now. Feels like there's no way out, but Jesus, you're faithful and able, and you've never once let me down. God help me now. No one else has the power that's in your name. Nowhere else can I run to and be saved. God help me now. Feels like there's no way out, but Jesus, you're faithful and able. You've never once let me down. God help me now. God help me now.
Isn't that a
Really
great song?
nice, yeah.
And it's
yeah.
actually a new song. I was looking this up because I wanted some information on it. The group that wrote the song is called Unspoken,
Okay.
and they're a contemporary Christian band that's been around for almost 20 years now.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
maybe I do know some of that other stuff, but I have not recognized
No.
this, nor many of the ones that Chuck brings on a Saturday night when he comes
Yeah.
in. He brings something new, and
Yeah.
they're all wonderful.
So this song itself is only a year old,
Oh, really?
2024.
Okay.
And listen to this. Unspoken, the band, is known for their contemporary Christian music, pop rock, and Latin-infused style.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
obviously, in a service like that, it's going to have a little bit more of a country gospel feel to it, which you can take music and rearrange to have
yeah.
a feel to it. But they're known for a Latin-infused Christian pop music. So that's pretty awesome. And the
That is pretty
band
awesome.
band members are Chad Matson, John Lowry, Ariel Munoz, and Matthew Calloway. So, but one of the couple of things in here that I noticed that jumped out at me is this line. So when fear comes to find me and doubt starts to grow, I lift my eyes, I know just where to go. And Psalm 121 right there just jumps out. Where does my help come from? Does it come from the hills? No, it comes from the Lord of heaven and earth, right? And so even some reference to Psalm 121.
Yeah, there is.
And but really, before I even talk about some of the verses, here's the thing I want to get to: is this made me go back to step one or statement one in our mission statement, is that we are real people. And I said on Sunday, God craves our honesty. When we're doing good, God likes our open hearts. When we're struggling, he wants us to acknowledge that. He just wants an open heart, wants honesty from us. And when you think about that, when you say, God, help me, what is that but a statement of honesty that you need, that there is more in this life than you can handle, right?
Yeah.
Like an acknowledgement of, I can only go so far. Now, God, I need your help. And that's a part of that honesty and openness that God really wants, is for you to see that, like, you can only go so far. And then to take that next step, you need help. And asking for help is about being a real person and being real. That you can't do it alone. And so that's what...
Yeah, it's important to remember, because there are times where we feel like we can't ask for help. And really, when we're saying that, we're saying, I'm beyond real people, or I somehow trying to spin some kind of lie.
Mm-hmm.
And to realize that we need a place that says, no, we need to come as real people. We need to be able to ask for help. We need to be able to
acknowledge
reach
it,
out.
right?
Yeah.
And there's no shame in that, and nobody loses face in that, and you can be in a relationship with God and be dependent upon the grace he gives. And it's okay. It doesn't make you a weak person. I actually think it makes you stronger when you can be real about your limitations and your mess ups and your struggles. Like, that actually makes you a stronger, well-adjusted person when you can say, oh, I messed up, or, oh, I can't do this alone. I need your help, right? Like, that, to me, makes you a stronger person.
Yeah.
And at least more well-balanced. And I think about, what I did was I looked at some places in the Bible where it talks about help or helping.
Yeah. Okay.
And the first one that popped to my mind is that moment when Moses has escaped Egypt. He had to flee because he killed an Egyptian guard. He saw this guard abusing a Hebrew slave, and he killed the guy for doing it. And then he thought no one saw him. That was not the case. Mm-hmm. And then when he found out that they were going to essentially rat him out, he fled. And he goes to Midian, which is in Saudi Arabia. And in Midian, he's falls in with a family, Hobab's family.
Yes.
Jethro's family.
Yeah, and this was long before your Wisconsin
Yes.
beast, and so it was not some kind of derogatory name he was saying toward his in-laws.
No, correct. Moses did not go to Rhinelander. He did not hang out with a Hodag for 40 years.
No.
No. He was with Hobab, or Jethro.
Yes, who he actually loved.
He loved. It was his
Yes.
father-in-law.
Yes.
He married a daughter. And 40 years of tending sheep, God comes to Moses and calls him. Calls him out of this. And this is one of the lines when God appears to Moses in this burning bush that isn't consumed, this fire doesn't burn itself out. The Lord said to Moses, I have indeed seen the misery of my people, and I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. So I have come down to rescue them from the hand of the Egyptians and bring them up out of the land into a good and spacious land. But here's the thing. You go, what's going on here? I have heard them crying out. They said, we need help. And so even in that situation, where does that begin? And it begins with that acknowledgement that you can't do it all on your own. And so the Israelites called out for help. God heard that and then called on Moses, and we know that story. Moses was a little reticent to go,
Yep.
But he did, and God led him all the way from getting him there getting the people out. The first covenant of Passover happens, and from there the adventure begins. And in some ways, from then on, it got harder, because faithfulness is a hard thing. Dependence is a hard thing.
It's
right?
hard to have that. I mean, it takes continued faith. I
Yeah.
mean, it
Yep.
yeah.
So
yeah.
it wasn't just, oh, I heard they're suffering, I'm going to bring them out, and they lived happily ever after. They get out there and they're in the desert, and they're moving towards the promised land, and people are like, we should have stayed in Egypt. Life was better in Egypt as a slave, which it was not. We're going to die out here. I'm thirsty. I'm hungry. I got to go to the bathroom. Are we there yet? All the things that happen when you take a family road trip vacation with young kids. Right?
That's about it.
That's it. And so things got harder because there was this lack of dependence upon God to care for them. Now, Moses didn't really suffer from that, but almost everybody else did. And yet God heard their initial cries and sent a response in the person of Moses. And I think that's the thing, is when we pray to God, when we ask for help in something, we need to look for that response somewhere.
Yeah.
They may have thought, well, we're praying, we want God to show up and like blow up Pharaoh, right? Like big fireworks, all that. But who shows up but a scraggly, bearded 80-year-old dude named Moses, right? And some people like, oh yeah, Moses, the guy, his mom put him in a basket, like that guy, he's back, right?
Here he is.
Yeah, but sometimes the answer we're looking for when we cry out for help or for assistance or for an answer may not be in the shape or form of what you want, right?
Yeah.
Like, we got to be looking for that. Now, if we move on to Psalm 18, and the Psalms are filled with statements like this. It's not just here. It's the Psalms are filled with these moments of crying out. And I just want to share one with you.
And honesty,
Yeah.
like real people crying out in honesty. Psalm 18, verse 6. In my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. For his temple, he heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears.
And so, like I said, you see that maybe a dozen or more places in the Psalms in itself. And it's no different than what we were sharing in Exodus. People cried out, God heard their prayers. The psalmist, he's like, I'm in trouble, God heard my prayers. You get into the New Testament, and what do you see is people who are in distress encounter Jesus, so not necessarily having to pray because God in the flesh is right there. He sees their distress, and he answers their prayers.
Yeah.
I mean, so time and time again, what we see is this understanding that God won't let you down. And I think that's
it.
the thing we have to remember. And I know we get into those moments where we're like Gideon. And if you didn't join us this weekend, Gideon was this judge, mighty warrior, who before he listened for God was just like, life stinks. Everybody talks about Moses and everybody talks about parting of the Red Sea and the 10 plagues. Yeah, but that's not happening today. Where's God?
We're living in this terrible under
time,
oppression by this. Yeah, all this whole thing.
And even seeing an angel was not enough for him.
Yeah.
He was still like, get out of here, right? For a lot of us, we see an angel and be like, okay, taking that to the bank. That's all. You don't have to say a word. Just point me in the right direction. I'm going, right? Like, you're an angel. Like, that's it. I'm in, right? He was so down and given up on life that even when the angel said, you're going to go to war against the Midianites who are oppressing the people of Israel, and you're going to lead them, he's like, yeah, I don't think so.
He couldn't imagine himself as that
Yeah.
mighty warrior, even though that's what his
Name
name
mean, right?
But yeah, he couldn't imagine leading a group of people for freedom.
That's
he
right.
couldn't imagine it.
Right? And yet it took this persistence, as I talked about, to get Gideon to take a small step so that he could trust in that promise that God does deliver on what he said he's going to do.
Right.
And
really, it really is. I mean, you couldn't get into the whole thing, but God really needs to walk with him. Like, really, God, if I'm just going to do this, and you need to prove to me by, making the dew come on my
Yeah, right,
sheepskin,
yeah,
or
right.
all the little things.
Yeah.
And God says, all right, we're going to do this one step at a time.
One
I'm
step
going
at
to
a
prove I'm with you.
Yep.
But
And it finally happens. And part of that story was, I need a sign. And the sign was, he said, okay, prepare like a meal for the angel.
yeah.
And he gets basically, it's like a sacrifice. And he sets it up, and the angel touches it, and it goes up like a mini nuclear bomb, like whoo. And he's like, oh, it is God. It is.
Yeah, so
like,
he
that
has
was
to do multiple things
to
to
get
try
that
to
sign,
get him
right?
to, and okay.
But then once he
start to-
trusts, now here's the thing: is that once he trusted, when God said you have too many soldiers, Gideon was like, okay. And then instead he went with 300. I mean, like that moved from non-faith to faith. But God hears the prayers of the despondent,
Yep.
but it's not just limited to that. Now, I want to encourage you to be a person of help. So it's not just God, but as a child of God, how do you be that person of help? We're invited into the mission, in other words. And so it's not just always God dependent. I mean, we need to be dependent, but then we can be that answer to somebody else's prayer. And I love this little section in Ephesians. And one of my professors in seminary, this was like his most favorite verse in the Bible. And so anytime we had a class with him, he would bring this verse up. And it was a small seminary in Iowa, and he and Craig Nesson was his name. He would always bring this up, and so I want to share it with you from Ephesians 4. And this is about how do we help others. Listen to this. And he said, it was Jesus who gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, some to be pastors, and some to be teachers. Why? To prepare God's people for works of service, so that the body of Christ, that is the church, may be built up. Why is that important? Until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ. So right there, what you hear, and there's a little bit more, but let me just unpack this, is Paul saying, look, there are a lot of job descriptions in the church. A lot of jobs, a lot of job descriptions, a lot of different things. And why would you want to be a part of that, kind of these different things? He's like, so that the whole church can be built up and reach maturity together, not just like, well, I'm up here and you're down here and you're somewhere here. It's like, no, we're all working to help each other so that we all grow in faith. And so he said, and there comes a point that we all become mature, attaining to the full measure of the fullness of Christ. So we're all on this journey to grow in our faith, and that there's so many different like job descriptions that we can lend our help, and that there is something for you and something for me. I mean, pastors is mentioned, right? But there's other things, and like, oh, I can be a part of that mechanism that helps others grow closer to Jesus and also just help a situation. And then this is the end result. If we all take that helping hand kind of calling, listen to this, then we will no longer be infants, tossed back and forth by the waves, blown here and there by every wind of teaching and by the cunning and craftiness of humans in their deceitful scheming. So not only is it just like somebody needs help and you lend a helping hand, but part of this is also like knowing your, I gotta phrase this so it doesn't sound profane, Pastor Brian.
Oh, yes, get it right.
Your
mess this up.
junk detector.
Your junk detector.
Yeah, there's another term that one might use. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So God wants us to all grow in such a way that we know our junk detector between what is divine and what is God-given and what is like earthly opinion and earthly, well, I like this and I don't like that. And he's like, I want to grow people in such a way that you just automatically know the will of God, to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with God. We've talked about this. But like that, everybody knows that, so that your junk detector is on high alert when people are expressing their opinion or people are expressing their personal human preferences versus what the will of God is. And so if we can grow in our faith to a point that we know what our junk detector is going off and be able to call junk junk, you can fill in any other word you'd like to use, by the way. This is about growing in faith to help people see when there's trouble ahead.
I like that.
How about that, right?
Yep.
So anyways, here's a couple of things I want you to know. There's no Bible study tomorrow night because Vacation Bible School.
There's a mountain in there right now.
Yeah, there's a mountain in there. We have sets everywhere. We
Yeah.
have stuff going on. There's just no way to pull that off. So no Bible study tomorrow evening. So don't show up. The doors will be locked. The lights will be out.
Yes.
We'll all be at home at that point.
Yep.
And we'll come back on Thursday. We'll give you another update on Vacation Bible School.
Yep.
And
Sure will.
what I want, though, from you, Pastor Brian, is by the time we get to Thursday afternoon, I want to know the 4 daily statements that we're teaching the kids.
Oh,
Okay?
Yes.
So I need you to come prepared so that we can go through there's 5 because there's Friday.
There's
but,
5.
But we want to learn the first 4 Monday through
Absolutely.
Thursday on Thursday,
Absolutely.
okay?
Yep.
We got to teach these people.
We got to teach them.
That's right. Anyways, we hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless you. Take care. We love you. And Philip Fortenberry is going to play us out.